So, got any good ideas building 80 series? Oh guys, look, in all seriousness, this is how the story went. Honestly, the 80 series that I bought, I always wanted to do a ute version, chop it, make basically the mirror version of the Built Not Bought truck in an 80 series version. But I went on a couple of trips and fell in love with the tailgate, being able to put stuff on the back, sit on it, be inside the car and see the sun going down. And then I was brainstorming with the boys one night, how can I build an 80 wagon that's different, because I just didn't want to do a 4-door, lift it, everyone does that. And we were toying with ideas, and then we thought 2-door, panel truck, panel van. I had an old HZ back in the day. So I did some Googling, Googled 2-door 80 series, panel van, panel truck, whatever. This thing popped up somewhere down the list, dug a bit deeper, turns out it was Mark's 80 series that he'd been filming on YouTube with Hoon TV, and that's how I found the car. The idea was in the head, this was a reality already, so that's sort of how it's all become about. And now I've been talking to Mark, and you've been kind of helping me through some of the stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the funny thing first is for all you people watching that are commenting below going, Hoon TV already did that, it's
ripping him off.
Who cares? It's cool, there's 2 of them now. So, well, there's actually 3, because I mentioned there's one in Cambodia.
There is another one in Cairns, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And the fact that you're doing turbo, which is what I was thinking about doing originally.
Yeah.
I've got my Barra, so I didn't want to do that. I wanted a V8. So I'm copying you now.
Yeah.
So,
this whole copying thing's funny because it's like, I don't know what else you'd want me to do. Should I build another 79 series? The fact that there's only 2 of these in the country, I think adding a 3rd isn't such a bad thing.
He's putting an outboard motor and wings on his as well.
Exactly.
So, you know,
to be honest, the fact that the doors are welded in, that's pretty much where the similarities ends. Anyway guys, there's a quick little look at the old Hoon TV 80. If you want to check it out, there is a full build on it. It's what, good 20 episodes or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting around 30 now. So
yeah.
And I'm still not finished. I haven't told Sam everything I'm doing with it yet. I've got to keep some of my secret.
Anyway, we're going to get hooking on with my 80 series because it's far from done like this one.
Cheers.
Cheers to our, what is this, corn kernel? Oh my God! Oh, yeah. That was crazy. Oh, geez, I tell you what, it's getting a bit chilly these days. The winter's definitely on its way. Right, going to manual. Now, why have I done this? Number 1, it was automatic, and you need heap more wiring, heap more computers, more tuning, just a pain in the ass to do. Number 2, this thing's gonna be pretty badass on the limiter. Now, you struggle to find that with an automatic unless you've got a fully manualized box or your computer's tuned to do that. So, number 3, mechanical. It's just mechanical, it's simple. It's not gonna overheat, you just throw some oil in there, it's all mechanical gears, shifting, you can push start it. Going downhill, you've got some engine braking. It just made more sense to me as a 4-wheel drive and for the purpose that I'm using this car for. So, when I fell down that rabbit hole, I discovered there was a few things I need to change. It's not like a Patrol, that was very easy to swap from automatic to manual, vice versa. It's been both several times, probably. With this, well, I managed to find a clutch pedal and brake pedal, so that kind of should bolt in. But the whole tunnel is different. So I got a manual tunnel cut out of another 80, and the task today is to basically rip out the automatic one, trim it and cut it in a very strategic fashion and glue the new one on. Now I say glue because I was chatting to a guy who actually got this from and he's done it before. I was going to weld it, but with how thin the metal is, it kind of is a pain in the butt to weld, and he's actually used, it's this really strong, it's like Bus Sikaflex, really strong bonding glue, and he put that on and he reckons he could not get the thing off again, so it did really well and obviously seals from the water a lot better. So we're going to have a slight overlap, glue the new casing on, and then it should line up well with the manual, and all the holes in that are correct because the auto one is shaped differently. So let's get into hacking this thing up just a little bit more. What do you know? All right, there we go, she's in. The tunnel is in, we've glued it up. I've just chucked a battery on there to hold the weight down until it sets and dries. Gone underneath and run some beads under there as well, so she ain't going anywhere. Now, next thing I want to change is the pedals. Now, I went down to, I think it was a Noosa 4-drive wreckers, basically tore one of their petrels apart. So I've got a clutch pedal and a brake pedal. It was a bit of surface rust, so I've dipped it in this new stuff called, where is it? Evaporust. So got this from Supercheap Auto and it is amazing. I'm not gonna lie, my dad used this stuff and he told me about it, and then I've gone and used it, and you can actually see the difference it makes. There was a little bit that was sticking out of the tub when I was putting it in. You can see the difference. I haven't touched it, I haven't sanded it, nothing. Just dropped it in this fluid and it's eaten the rust away. So absolutely incredible stuff. I'll give it a quick sand after that and a lick of paint. Then the pedals can go in, and that's it, pretty much conversion done. She is now a manual, that easy. Alrighty, this is where shit gets real. We finally got hold of a 200 series grille and a set of headlights. So obviously with the 200 front end, the whole idea is to try and make this thing as modern as possible, but I do love the old school 80 body. So this is what we've ended up with. Now, by looking at it, the grille shouldn't be too bad. What I want to do first is throw the bonnet on and just find out what height this is going to be. Sort of mark out where the joins are, because the headlights actually connect into the grille here. So once I know where that point is, I'll know where that point is on the car, and then I can go up and start looking at mounting the headlights. Like already I can tell, and I knew this was going to be the case, we're going to have to probably cut most of this corner out here and build a new tubular section or something with some tabs on it to actually create some mounts for this to bolt onto. But basically, yeah, we'll get the bonnet on, put the grille on, and then work out where we need to hack it, pretty much cut this whole corner out and just start sitting in it. And then once the headlight's in there, we can pretty much build a guard around it, do the flares, and shield should match up pretty good. Sounds easy, right? But this is where a lot of work begins. So let's start putting in the hours, cutting this thing up, and try and get these bloody headlights in here. Gonna look sick, but. All right, progress has been made. I've pretty much mocked up a bracket on the top here. Had to move the hole a couple of times, but I'm just trying to get a general idea. Everything's just tacked up, nothing's fully welded. Just working on this bottom one here, and that would pretty much hold the light where it needs to be. Just welded a nut on the back side so I can throw that through. And now I just want to line up the grill, give it a bit of an eyeball how it's going to end up, and then position where this bottom bracket needs to go. And then we can pretty much start working on the other side. Once it's all looking pretty good, then I can go ahead and fully weld everything. Alrighty, so we've got the front end together now. You can pretty much see how it's going to look when it's finished. Now the grill is just kind of resting on the front there, but the lights are mounted, and I reckon it's sort of 80% of the way there. There's still a bit more tweaking to do and a heap more fab work to get the front end on, but we're going to leave this alone for a little bit of a minute, because I went down and saw Cam from North Coast Customs Trim, and he's just done an incredible job putting this suede on the dash here. So now we can finally put the dash back together, get it in the car, and start getting back onto that side of things. So let's hook into that, and then we can worry about the headache on the front end a little bit later. So, just a bit of Stevie Wonder, you know. Well, not actually. Bruce Hornsby. Alrighty, so the dash is pretty much in. It's fitting up really good, actually. A bit of a struggle to get all the hoses for the aircon lines, because they're plastic, really fragile, and a bit fiddly to get to, but that's in, the dash is in, it's kind of solid. A few extra bolts or little screws are actually still on my hand here, even though the dash is in, so who knows which ones are missing. Anyway, before we go any further, there's a few little cool flash bits and pieces I want to show you. As I mentioned earlier, where is it? The dash, we're replacing the whole dash with this Haltech. So the Haltech is in this bloody custom made housing, and it's a full flush fitment. Now I got this housing from, I think it's called Mako. Let me check that. M-A-K, yeah, Mako Motorsport, M-A-K-O. So these guys make all sorts of surrounds and housings for Haltechs, for Nexus systems, for
whatever other OBD dash replacements are out there. There's pretty much all sorts of cars, all your Ice Burners, Skylines, all sorts of that, even 80 series Land Cruisers apparently. So the Haltech dash should go straight in there, and that's the full replacement there that we're going to be using instead of the standard dash cluster. The next thing, we did see this last episode with the new seats, so we've got the new 200 series steering wheel. Now this one's from EC Off-Road, and that is a fully Bluetooth system, wireless to your head unit. So I've got a dash kind of DIN system on its way in the mail, so that'll be a full screen. So we've got screen dash, screen stereo, 200 steering wheel, so you can sort of see the trend happening now. Blacked everything out, so we'll go ahead and keep putting that stuff on. I think that's really it for the flash stuff at the front here. Obviously we did repaint all of the surrounds with that vinyl paint earlier, so yeah, pretty much finish off putting in, and we'll see how the finished dash looks.
Oh, here we are inside the new interior, sitting in the 80 for the first time. It's pretty damn flash, but I am waiting on a few more things. Obviously need to shoot down to the wreckers and get a horn button. Still waiting on that screen for the interior there. Door cards, they're coming. I've sort of given Cam free rein on them because he's obviously seen the seats. I said do a door card to match. So we'll see how they come out. But that is sort of the interior sort of half done. Oh, and the gearbox holes line up. Look at that. Amazing. But I do need help with this thing, the way it's turning out, and the new front end. I need you guys to comment below. I need a name for this thing. What do I call it? The 280? I don't know. What about Godzilla? Or the 79 Eater Killer Destroyer? Or the 200 Tamer? Or maybe the Built Not Bored 80.
Alrighty, so what I wanted to get onto next, another typical episode. I'm going to do a bit of everything to keep you guys entertained. We're going to start looking at the fuel system, which I'm going to do very different to the Patrol. Now, the Patrol, I used the original hard line down the rail. This time, I've gone a step further. We're getting a little bit more flash with this car if you haven't already worked that out. We're going full braided AN fittings with this system. So we're going to be starting off with obviously the sender itself. That's still the factory sender. Being a petrol, it wasn't a diesel, so it's got a fuel pump in the tank. We're basically doing a full replacement for the in-tank pump. This is a Walbro 525, I think, or 555. I'll chuck it on the screen. I forget which one exactly is, but plenty. That'll handle 1,000 horsepower, that pump there. So what I've managed to do is actually do a full braided system directly from the sender there, which is pretty lucky. I managed to find an actual banjo fitting to a Dash 4 or Dash 6, I think it is. Now all these fittings are Raceworks fittings, and big thanks to the guys at Premier Auto Trade who actually helped me with exactly what I need with this stuff, because a lot of these fittings are very specific depending on the hose and type of braid you're using. So they walked me through the whole process. I told them what I was doing with the fuel system, and they've pretty much helped me lay out this whole kit. So we've gone for the banjo fitting, we've gone an adapter up to that, and then the whole line is going to be Dash 8. So I've got Dash 8 braided hose and fittings all the way through. Then we come through to the Raceworks fuel regulator, so that will be near the tank to run back into the tank with just a rubber hose off that. After the regulator, I'm going through to a couple more fittings and adapters from the Dash 6 to Dash 8 hose again. Now this fuel filter is actually a Dash 10 filter. The microns, I think it's 10 or 40 micron. I'll chuck that on the screen. 40 micron, so it's a 40 micron down on the rail there. And then we're out of Dash 10 back to a Dash 8 on the other side, and then straight up to the fuel rail itself, which I need to change that fitting to a 90-degree right angle instead of the straight one there. So the plan today is to pretty much get the thing up on the hoist, get underneath and settle these lines up on the chassis rail there. I got a bunch of the AN fitting spanners and adjustable wrench, just so you protect all that nice finish there. Bunch of hoses and a pretty trick tool here I got from the guys there as well to properly do these braids. I don't know if you've tried to do this before with a cutoff wheel, and all the bits of stuff start fraying and it's a pain to do. Now this is apparently a proper tool to put these fittings together with all your different sizes, Dash 6, 8, 10, right up to 12, right down to 4. So I'm gonna have a play with this, work out how to use it, and then show you guys how easy it is using that specific tool for those fittings. So let's get into it. Oh, but almost forgot, before we get going with this, we need to draw the winner from last week's episode, which was for the set of Pit Vipers. Let's have a look. Oh, alrighty, Pit Vipers winner from last week's episode, which was the servicing video. We have had about 857 entrants in the comments there, so we'll have a look for the winner, and it is George Manius. I forget what the question was. I think it was something about taking an item on a trip. Now, George has said, last trip up north, me and the missus brought half a dozen red, half a dozen white wines, cocktail shaker, and a portable blender, vodka, triple sec, and Bacardi. Frozen cocktails before dinner and wine with dinner. It was awesome. That's pretty sweet. I've actually done that before. If you've got the old NutriBullet blender, you can make frozen cocktails. Well, there you go, George. Send me a message on Instagram and I'll get those set of Pit Vipers out to you. Back to the episode.
Well, hello there. It's been a while since I've done a voiceover. They're usually used for explaining things. Here we are installing the fuel system and the fuel rail and stuff. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the episode. Make sure to like and comment below.
All right, I'm doing my best here to show you what we've got. Pretty much done now. Oh, it's very tight on here. Okay, so fuel tank side, we've obviously got that banjo fitting ready to go onto the sender there. Run the line around. Now this is gonna obviously be P-clamped in a couple of positions to keep it all nice and tight. After the tank here, we've got the filter that's gone in, all fittings done up. Got a clamp, and then we're just waiting on a special fitting for this one here, male -10 to -6. That'll go in there, and then we've got that regulator with a return line. I just need to run that back to the sender, just with rubber hose because it's not under pressure. Done the fittings on this side, -8 all the way up. Again, we'll put some P-clamps along here to tidy it all and keep it secure, and then run right up into the fuel line, which I'm waiting on that 90-degree bend there. So that is pretty much the pressure side of the fuel system sorted. Get those couple of fittings done, and that'll be pretty much all there.
So how's your mum been? Good? Dad? Doing good too? Oh, great guys. Look, if you want me to go away, just say in the comments, but I'm a voiceover. You can't see me. Oh, look at that sender. Beautiful.
Right, so yesterday I was about to put the tank in, but I've decided to throw in the gearbox first because we've got a bit more room up there. Now, Father Isles was around, they've been over from WA, so Mum and Dad are here. So Dad gave me a hand while I was here, took advantage of them yesterday, and we've dropped the box in. So next thing to do is put the tank in, but just before we do that, the box is in, but the transmission cross member is apparently different. This being an auto, now we've put a manual in, the holes are slightly offset. It's probably like an inch or two different. So what I'm gonna do is just weld a plate on top, and then that will slot the holes forward. We'll get a real solid weld. We've got some really thick, like 8mm plate or something on there. Line those holes up, get that transmission cross member in, and then gearbox is done. We can move on putting the tank in, and then get this thing down off the hoist, and that will pretty much finish off what's underneath there.
You know, every now and then I try and add something a bit interesting into my videos, but no one really likes it. They just want it just usual vlog way. Why? Why is this happening to me?
Alrighty, well the tank is in. There we go. I tell you what, she bloody needs a lick of paint. It's looking a bit shabby under there. I'll get that sorted. But that kind of will wrap up this episode. We've honestly covered a lot in this one. We've really gone through and sorted out a lot of the bits and pieces. Next episode, I'm hoping we'll get very close to try and fire this thing up for the first time. Bit more wiring to do. We'll start off with that, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, now we've got some fuel in the thing. We just need to sort out the electrical side, get that ECU programmed, and then we can fire it up for the first time. I'm going to mention again, you may have spotted that clutch in there before you guys asked in the comments. I did touch on this before, but maybe you missed that one. That is a dual
plate clutch. It's a twin plate ceramic from Extreme Outback. Now this thing is completely like bloody race spec. It's not really a street clutch, but for the power I want to put through it is what we had to go with. So really keen to see how that thing goes. They've kind of built a bit of a custom flywheel to suit my application, which is awesome. But yeah, it's you can tell by the look of it, that's got that real race sort of style. But anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel and we'll see you guys in the next episode where we hopefully make a whole lot of boost. Guys, if you like this video, make sure to click up here to subscribe to the channel. Click over here for our latest merchandise on our website. And down below or to the side, I'm not sure where it is our last episode. If you haven't watched it, click on that to check it out. See you guys.